Hey, what's up, guys? So today I want to talk about the transit of the south node of the moon coming into an exact conjunction with Neptune. It has been building up for a while, but the exact conjunction happens around November the 18th, 2016. The south node of the moon it represents what we need to let go of in this life and what direction we're already familiar with. It's what we're already familiar with. We're already familiar with the good and the bad of that energy, okay? And what we need to let go of is the negative part of that energy. So right now the south node is in the sign of Pisces, and it's at 9 degrees of Pisces around the 18th. And Neptune represents, on the positive side, it's spirituality, it's the unseen world, it is creativity, like the type of creativity that rules like dance and movies and that type of entertainment that's like fantasy. On a negative side, it rules where we can be caught up in illusions and where we can play the victim and savior role in life. It rules illusion and dissolvement and where we cannot be seeing reality pretty much and escaping from reality. So when these two come together, if the south node is letting go and what you need to pull away from is like pulling away from playing the victim role on the pulling away from the negative stuff, which is playing the victim role, not seeing reality, unhealthy escapism. So a lot of us as a collective, because this is one of those transits that really affect us as a collective, a lot of people are finally seeing the light as to where they need to let go of such things as addictions, unhealthy escapism through addictions like alcohol, drugs, prescription drugs, maybe even having unhealthy bad habits like smoking cigarettes, having a bad diet, because on the polar opposite end is Virgo, the north node, the direction which we need to try to head towards. It's Virgo. Virgo is all about health and service and facing reality and seeing things for what they really are and in grand detail, okay? The south node coming in contact with Neptune is really going to make us as a collective also let go of playing the victim role. Anywhere where you have played the victim role in life, you're going to start seeing that so much more clearly. I mean, you maybe already have. Like I said, it's a buildup of this energy, and then around the 18th is the exact point to where it comes to be exact, and then it'll start descending, but there's still going to be like in close proximity bringing about this energy of these lessons to us. Anywhere where you have played the victim role, maybe in a relationship, maybe you thought, oh, I was so tortured, so abused, so innocent, and I did nothing wrong to deserve this, and this other person was just treating me so badly. Maybe you may start seeing the light as far as where you may have done wrong. Not saying anybody deserves to be treated badly, but maybe you start seeing the role that you played and stop seeing that person as being such the villain and you're such the victim. Maybe you are also equally a villain in that situation. Just to be a little personal, that's something that I'm currently experiencing a buildup of with this energy. Letting go of, I'm finally seeing, the light of a situation from my past where I did portray someone as such the villain, which they did do some pretty villainous stuff, but I was not the complete innocent victim. I did maybe not equally as terrible things, but and not like, oh, I deserved it, but I did do some things that are pretty deceitful, and Neptune rules deceit, putting a fog over things. It's putting illusions over things and really not seeing yourself clearly too. Like maybe you just go through life seeing yourself as like, I do nothing wrong, and when people bring things to your attention that you do wrong, you're like, no, why does everybody pick on me? It's not fair. The south node coming in contact with that is going to really make you take a good hard look at yourself and see where it is that maybe you do, actually do things like that are harmful or hurtful, or you do wrong, okay? Everybody in this world does some form of wrong, but people who are caught up in this Neptune fog of illusion They may never ever see that, and they'll be like, whatever, F you, it's all you, it's all everybody else. On the negative side, Neptune energy can be about playing the blame game, always blaming other people for your problems and not looking at your own actions and being accountable for them. And now, caught in the mix of this is also Saturn, the planet of discipline, a planet of, harsh reality and learning harsh lessons. It shatters illusions and puts up boundaries. It does the opposite of what Neptune does. It's making a square aspect to these two together, to the South Node and Neptune together. A square aspect, it brings challenges. It challenges it. So we're all being challenged pretty much to learn some really hard lessons about not being in touch with reality and not seeing ourselves and other people for who we all really are, which is we are humans, we are flawed, but we're not perfect either. We do have things that we need to work on always. We're always a work in progress as human beings. It's just the way that it is. And that other people are flawed too, or maybe they are not as flawed as we thought they were. It's just those themes are coming up right now. Neptune, since it's in conjunction with the South Node, it's opposing the North Node, which is reality and in Virgo. So all of us are feeling this as a collective. We all are made of different energies, based on our birth chart and astrology. So depending upon your sun, your moon, and your rising sign is where this can really affect you. I would say the people that this affects the most are people who are ruled by the planet Neptune, which are people who were born under the sign of Pisces somewhere, like either a Pisces risings especially, Pisces sun and Pisces moon. We are really, really looking at areas of life, because since Neptune rules Pisces, Pisces is an energy of delusion and illusion and not seeing reality and being the escapist. We are really, really facing this stuff right now, big time. I say we because my moon sign is Pisces. There's a lot of Pisces energy in my friends and immediate family, people very close to me. Or if you're ruled by Neptune, maybe you have Neptune in the first house, you have Neptune conjunct your ascendant, conjunct your sun or moon, maybe even Neptune making a strong aspect to any of those points or planets or luminaries in your chart. Just a very Neptunian person, you're really going to start having to let go big time of anywhere where you've been harboring any of this negative stuff, any of the negative Neptunian traits. I mentioned addiction before. If you have an addiction, you got to learn how to let go and how to face reality, how to live within here, on planet Earth, like not always try to run away from it and think that, it's so much better somewhere else. Like somewhere else can mean like mentally in your mind, going off to another zone, another dimension, like in the mind by using substances or alcohol, escapism, running away from your problems, running away from yourself. This South Node conjunct our ruling planet Neptune, if you're a Neptunian person, really going to teach some hard lessons about that. Best thing to do, I believe, is to study the energy of Virgo, which is opposite. Try to, gravitate towards those themes a little bit more, like better health, better acceptance of reality for what it is, taking care of yourself, and being honest. Virgo is an energy that can be brutally honest a lot of times, and, just being honest with ourselves, honest with other people. Virgo energy can also point fingers a lot, blame everything else and other people except for themselves, because they want to see themselves as being perfect and achieve perfection in life, which is the negative side if it's to the extreme. So I would say try to stay away from that, but definitely gravitate towards the positives of it, which is facing reality. Saturn is telling us to do that too, Neptunian people. Facing reality for what it really is, and stop always saying, oh, poor me, poor me. No, not poor you. You're perfectly capable of doing things for yourself. Codependency is another thing that this energy is dealing with. The energy of Neptune, the energy of Pisces, can be very super codependent on a negative side, and always looking for someone to rescue them. It's like Pisces rules the oceans, as does Neptune, its ruling planet. And so a lot of times we can live life like we're just floating out in the ocean, always waiting for someone to throw us a life raft. Help, poor me. I'm stuck out here. Help, guys. Somebody, anybody rescue me. I'm a damsel in distress. Always waiting for someone. Here you go, Pisces. Poor Pisces. Oh, here you go, poor Neptunian. Here, I've come all the way out into this ocean just to rescue you. Oh, okay, finally. Oh, poor me. Someone's finally rescuing me. We can live life like that on the negative side with having super Neptunian energy in our charts, okay, in our personality. This conjunction, is really going to start showing us you can't do that all the time. You can't live like that. You can't just get by in life by like making people feel sorry for you so that you get taken care of, or people do things for you to help you. You got to learn how to help yourself. You can't be this helpless damsel in distress floating in the ocean all the time. You can't. You are perfectly capable of functioning here on planet Earth. Another thing with negative energy of Neptune and Pisces is learning how to live here as a physical being. We have a lot of issues with that, don't we? Learning that we're a physical being. We're not just our mind, and we're not living way up there all the time. We do have a body, and we live here on Earth where there's gravity and there's natural things that happen. Like, we have to take care of ourselves and gain control over our physical self, So if you have any, that goes along with like the addiction and maybe giving yourself away too freely, just being honest. If you're a Neptunian person, you could be doing that, giving yourself away too freely and not letting there be any boundaries between you and other people in any type of way. So you're going to have to learn how to let go of that and really be challenged right now with those lessons. So for every sign, like I said, as a collective, we're going to be feeling that. Neptunian people especially, but every sign will be feeling it. I'll just go briefly through all of them, try not to make this too long, but for Aries, this is your 12th house. This is the house of spirituality, of escaping from reality. It's the house of your deep subconscious mind and karma. So you may have to really start facing some things with letting go of karma, of the past. And also learn how to let go of the negative side of escaping reality and negative things that are caught up in your subconscious mind. If you're a Taurus, this is your 11th house of groups of people and friendships. So maybe some illusions that you had towards friends, maybe you weren't seeing them clearly for who they really are. You may be challenged on that and have to let go of some friendships that maybe you thought, you may have thought that they were good people or that they're good for you, but really they're not. Or you may discover that a friend really isn't who they put themselves out there to be or who you thought they were. You'll have to let go of that. You have to let go of some illusion that you had with a group. If you're a Gemini, this South Node and Neptune conjunction happens in your 10th house. 10th house does deal with your career and your public image. Maybe you've been putting out there this image of yourself, of, this fantasy image, like, you're so glamorous, you're so this, you're so that, and maybe you think of yourself like that and you put yourself out there, but really you're going to have to face reality of what you are not. And, you may be challenged on that. Maybe some people may uncover some dirt or some secrets about you, and they may put it out there publicly, if you don't shatter an illusion that you have been putting out there about yourself. If you're a Cancer, this happens in your 9th house. The 9th house is of higher education and goals and long distance travel. But maybe there's some goals that you had, or maybe there's some ideals that you had about higher education that you didn't really see clearly, and now you're being forced to let go of illusions that you had of that. Maybe you thought that going to a certain college would get you the perfect life and everything, and maybe you're finally seeing, no, it doesn't. Or maybe you thought that you could not further your education because you didn't think you were smart enough, and now this illusion is going to be shattered and you're going to have to let go of, woe is me, I'm not smart. Yeah, maybe you really are, Cancer. Maybe you can go to college and further your education. If you're a Leo, this conjunction happens in your 8th house. The 8th house deals with intimate relationships with other people. So maybe you had a fantasy image of someone that you share an intimate bond with, and you're going to have to let go of that. Maybe you're being faced with reality that they aren't really who they said they were. Or maybe you just had these illusions of intimacy and how it's supposed to be and what's best for you. And now you're going to see clearly some things that you thought were best that really are not in those regards. For Virgo, this happens in your seventh house of relationships with other people. So a lot of my Virgos, Neptune is hanging out in your seventh house of relationships, and it will be for years, several more years. Okay, so I think until the 2020s somewhere, and has been there for several years. Okay, so a lot of my Virgos have been facing a lot of delusion and illusion within relationships, and things that are like boundaries not being set. You know, maybe, well, I thought we were together, but nothing was really established, but we have this great bond, so I just assumed. And then you find out that no, the other person's like, I'm not committed to you. We never established anything. And you're like, oh my gosh, like I really thought we were. So there may be some illusions that are shattered in that kind of way, you know, when it comes to relationships. You may have just really put like this, oh, fantasy image over someone, really glamorize like how you view them, like, oh, they're just perfect for me, they're just a perfect being, they're like, you may elevate them onto a pedestal. But now when this, you know, when this transit happens, you may start to really see reality for what it really is and see this person for who they really are. And you may be surprised and shocked by something that is revealed. Like, oh my gosh, like I thought that they were, you know, only in a relationship with me and that they're this hardworking person. And it turns out maybe they're living a double life. They already have a wife or a husband, or they have like some secret kids stashed away, or, you know, that's like the worst that can happen. But maybe it's just that you realize that the person that you are with or want to be with, that they are a human being, that they have flaws, and you just have to learn how to accept them and still love them for who they are. If you're a Libra, this conjunction is happening in your sixth house. It's work and health. So maybe some of my Libras are letting go of some illusions that they had about taking care of their bodies. Maybe some of you thought that you had the perfect job, and you start to see, you know what, maybe I don't. Or, you know, you just somewhere where you weren't really facing reality or sticking to routine, you're going to have to let go of that. Like maybe you don't really have much of a routine with Neptune hanging out in your sixth house, and the South Node coming there is going to say you got to let go of not keeping track of time, for example, because Pisces energy does not like to keep track of time. And the sixth house is the house of routine and doing things like according to a list and an agenda and a schedule. And maybe you haven't really been able to do that. Well, now you're going to have to let go of just kind of wavering through time, you know, not really being structured. Okay, you're going to have to let go of that. If you're a Scorpio, this is happening in your fifth house of children and of romance. So maybe you're going to have to let go of, you know, looking at your children like they're so perfect. Maybe they are flawed human beings too, and you have to learn to accept them and still love them. Some illusion that you had about your kid, oh, they're the perfect kid. Oh, you know, maybe you're going to learn, no, they're not, but how are you going to handle that? You know, you still going to be a good mom or dad to them, or are you going to still try to fit them into some fantasy image that you have of your kid, you know, that maybe they're not really fitting into, but you desperately want them to? You have to accept them for who they really are. This goes for romantic partnerships. Maybe you were in one, you know, casually dating someone, oh, they're so great and everything, and then you're living in a fantasy world with them, and then you finally come to this realization that, oh my gosh, you know, they're not who I thought they were, or reality is maybe we're not compatible, or, you know, same thing with them. Maybe you see, you know what, they're a flawed human being, just like I am, just like the rest of us are. I shouldn't be putting them on a pedestal. You know, they have flaws, and I just need to accept them. If you're a Sagittarius, this conjunction happens in your fourth house, home and family. Some of you may have family members that are too codependent, maybe even stuck on drugs, and you're going to have to let go of being an enabler, pretty much. A lot of my Saggies are. This is just only one example that I'm giving of for every sign, just to make it quick. being an enabler, or maybe just, family members that are maybe not necessarily on drugs, but they've just been leeching off of you and other family members. You guys are going to have to let go and face reality and tell them, you know what, you really need to get help. And you really need to be on your own 2 feet. I'm not going to keep taking care of, your kids for you, your bills for you, your responsibilities for you. I have responsibilities of my own. You guys also have Saturn in your sign. You see, you got a lot of growing up to do. You have a lot of responsibilities right now, and you can't be taking care of other family members who are totally capable like that. So that's one thing that you may have to let go of, or being way too, compassionate. I mean, compassion is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, and I encourage it, but I guess, too much of a pushover when it comes to family and let them run all over you and drain you. Neptune is an energy that can be draining. So letting go of letting family drain you is maybe a big lesson for Sag during this transit. For Capricorn, this is happening in your 3rd house of the mind and your thinking processes. So a lot of my Capricorns, you guys are naturally very grounded in reality, but maybe with Neptune in your 3rd house transiting right now, you can have your moments of being like spacey or not really seeing things for what they really are, and maybe trying to give the benefit of the doubt too much to other people. I know, shocker, right? Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, which is pretty strict and straightforward and like doesn't give a crap and says no excuses, not emotional at all. But Neptune transiting your 3rd house right now can sometimes bring more of that, they're really a nice person, or just kind of not really seeing people for who they really are and trying to be the nice person all the time. It can bring that about for you. And this is definitely going to bring about a separation of illusions that you have in your mind towards other people, or just towards life in general, because the 3rd house is the thinking and the mind in general. So not just towards other people, but just anywhere in life where you've been not seeing reality, pretty much anywhere in life. You're going to have to learn to let go of that and really see the truth loud and clear. If you're an Aquarius, this happens in your 2nd house of earned income and your resources. So Aquarians, you may have had a lot of losses when it comes to finances or your material possessions. And you are going to have to let go of anything that's been causing that. Maybe you've been overspending, overdoing it. Neptune causes confusion and losses due to confusion. Maybe you've been losing a lot of stuff, or losing money because you're just spend. Who, what, where? I don't know where it went. I don't know, but whatever, So you're going to have to let go of that. But also the 2nd house deals with self-worth. So a lot of people, I have Neptune in the 2nd house in my birth chart. So that can be giving your power away and your value away to other people way too easily. Aquarius is a very strong sign. You guys are very, you value being unique and being yourself and not following the crowd, and really sticking to your guns when it comes to who you are. But since Neptune has been in your 2nd house, it can have brought up, you guys giving away your value of yourself to other people too easily, letting other people define you, or start breaking you down. So this is going to be a really big lesson to learn to let go of that. And finally, if you're a Pisces, this happens in your 1st house of the self because it's in your sign. Neptune's in Pisces and the South Node is in Pisces. So anywhere in life, Pisces, anywhere where you have gravitated towards the negative side, the dark side of being a Pisces person, which is overly compassionate, to where you're giving and giving and giving away, and there's no boundaries between you and other people. Overdoing it with escapism, unhealthy escapism. Just not even just only through substances, but maybe just through the mind in general, trying to block out and put fog over reality, and anywhere where people may be misusing you. Anywhere in life where you've played the victim role, and or anywhere in life where you've been overdoing it, playing the savior role, always playing Captain Save 'em to other people, to where you drain yourself or they are draining you. It's going to be time to let go. Time to let go, time to face reality. And, it can be a good thing for you, this release of anything negative that has to do with your ruling planet, which is Neptune. So to all signs, this is, I do mention the negative sides of things, but it doesn't mean everything is so negative. It's letting go can be a positive thing. It really can. It can let go to welcome in new and better for you. Okay, so don't get like, oh my God, she's so negative. No, I'm just very, very, very honest with things. I will tell you the good and the bad. So that is the transit of the South Node conjunct Neptune in Pisces. The peak is on November 18th, 2016. So I hope this was helpful and insightful. And don't forget to tune into your monthly forecast for November anyway. It'll explain a little bit more about how this month is going for you. But this is a rare transit. It only happens once every 12 years or so. This is kind of rare, so that's why I really wanted to highlight this in particular. If you would like a personal reading to look even deeper into this for you, your own self, then there's a link below in the description box to where you can go and you can order a personalized reading from myself from my website, which is indigomoonastrology.com. I hope you guys have a great month of November, and I hope the release and letting go of negative and illusions really does you some good and brings positive into your life in the future. All right, take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys next time.